Hey, you read the title. If you're in high school, if you just graduated and you're feeling confused about your future, if you're feeling lost, pressured into making a decision, either going to college, getting a job, getting a career, if you just feel that pressure, if you feel desperate to make a decision, like you have to make a decision, if you feel intimidated by your future, watch this video and I got you, right? I'm not gonna solve all your problems, right? I'm not gonna put you on the path to becoming a billionaire, but I'm gonna tell you kind of a real perspective. I'm 20. I graduated 2023. So I understand the confusion and the pressure. So let me give you some words of advice, right? So we're gonna be talking about kind of how to figure out your career and what you want to do in life, good habits to build, and good attributes and behavior patterns to help you grow in life, right? So first things first, everyone goes through this. Millions of kids your age are going through this right now, where they feel lost. So don't worry, bro. Like, you're all good. It might seem like you're the only one going through what you're going through, but everyone has gone through it, bro. Unless you're like Jeremiah Smith, you know, everyone's gone through it. You're all good. This is a normal part of life. It's normal to feel this way. So you're all good, right? So first things first, you want to figure out how you're going to get some money in your pockets. You want to figure out what career you're going to pursue and what you want to do in life, right? That's the main question. Ever since we're like freshmen, sophomore, juniors, we're always talking about what's going to be your career. Are you going to go to college? This and that. And you might hear your classmates, right, saying how, oh, they're going to do this and that. And it seems like they have everything figured out, right? And it makes you, in turn, feel bad about yourself. But, bro, let me tell you, everyone jazzes up what they're going to do in life greater than, what I'm saying? Like, they be hyping it up and they kind of word it like they know what they're going to do in life. That everything that they're doing is going great. And let me just tell you, that's not reality. So stop comparing yourself and stop feeling bad about yourself when you hear your classmate or your buddy telling you they're going to do this and this and that. Because everyone jazzes it up more than it really is, right? So, okay, how do you figure out what career you want and what you want to do in life? I'm going to be honest. I don't know. This is something I'm telling you the real stuff. This is something you got to figure out for yourself, right? One day you're not just going to wake up with this brilliant idea and know a step-by-step plan on how you're going to achieve that. No one does. That's not realistic. So we need to temper our expectations, right? We want to so badly know exactly what career we're going to have. And that's just not true. I feel like it's really unhealthy that school and our parents pressure us so much into knowing what career we're going to have at 18 years old. That's just not realistic. So, but let me tell you how to get on the right path. I'm going to aim you in the right direction to finding where you want to go in life. So the first thing I would do is limit my distractions. Doom scrolling, binge watching TV, bad friends who indulge in degeneracy, partying, drugs. Me personally, I've never been a big party person, right? And I think that's honestly been a blessing in disguise because the time that I've spent alone with myself, I've really figured out who I am, the good and bad, everything that comes with it about myself. I am aware of, and I'm still to this day I'm learning, we're all learning. This is a journey, but when you limit these distractions, right, you have a lot more clarity in your life in what you want to do in life, in the way you think. It's your ways of thinking when you're not influenced by degeneracy, doom scrolling, TV shows, binge watching. I'm not saying never watch a TV show, but these things cloud up your own personal judgment and ways of thinking. So now when it comes time to thinking about where you want to go in life, you're really not sure because your internal compass, your moral compass, who you want to be, it's all broken. It's all. Have you seen a broken compass? It spins. It doesn't know what direction it wants to go because it's being influenced by so many things outside of itself. So that's why I would limit distractions. Because once you do this, you hear your kind of your authentic self. This You start hearing this voice more. You could say it's your higher self that leads you into a place you want to go, in a place that you know is good. It's a genuine voice that wants the best for you. But this can only come out, at least in my experience, when I'm sober, when I'm not going to parties, when I'm not doom scrolling. This clarity becomes very clear in my life. And this is very important. Obviously, this voice, it takes time. You need to kind of cultivate this environment to allow this authentic voice to become louder and louder so you can hear it, right? But things become more apparent to you. You start becoming more aware of yourself in a kind of a healthy way. You find out, what you're good at, what you like to do that's good for you. Your interest. You learn what you're not good at, the things that you don't like about yourself, right? And this helps you kind of get on the track of finding what you want to do. And I'm going to say, listen to that voice in your head that is telling you what you want to do in life. Listen to that voice. And for me personally, I never really told people what I want to do in my life because I didn't, like I said, I didn't want those external thoughts, especially when you're young, right? You're so uncertain. And let's say you tell your dream to somebody and they're doubtful of you, that has a very impactful, a big negative impact on you. Because right now you're kind of a little fragile, right? You really have no skills, you don't know much, so your ways of thinking and your dream is almost fragile. So that's why I always kept it to myself because I know what I wanted to do. And it took time because let me tell you, at first I wanted to create a clothing brand, right? I was heavily into clothes, but kind of the more and more I limited distractions and became aware of myself, I realized I was so into fashion and clothes because I liked the external validation I got from other people. It would kind of mask who I was, all of my insecurities, my almost like kind of my good style would in my head compensate for all the things I lacked in. So I would get validation from other people. Every time I told someone I want to start a clothing brand, their reaction, they were always like, "Oh, like that's great." Or sometimes it wasn't. I didn't tell many people. When I did, they was like, "Oh, like that's great, like that's super cool," and kind of subconsciously almost that would like stroke my ego, where I would think to myself this validation just did something. Like I was only searching for that validation. I wasn't doing it for me. But like I said, once I got rid of the distractions, once I gained more clarity, I realized you're all kind of doing this for external validation. And I really learned what I wanted to do in life, what was interesting to me, which is this, kind of helping people out, helping people become friends with that little voice inside of their head. That's what I like doing. I like relating with you guys. I like maybe giving you guys some clarity if you guys feel lost, like this video, helping you guys out. So that's what I'm saying. You have to remove those distractions, right? So let's say you listen to that little voice in your head, right? And you do want to pursue something, but you don't feel like you have the qualities to achieve it. Let me tell you right now, I'm going to tell you straightforward. Do not believe that thought. Do not believe in those thoughts where you're not qualified enough, you're not experienced enough, you're not smart enough, you've never done this in your past, so you can't do this. Never believe those thoughts. I'm telling you right now. Those are self limiting thoughts that can, once you believe in those, I swear they like warp time because you believe in this and you procrastinate and you don't do it. And you look back at your life, you're 21, and you realize you haven't made no actions because you've believed in this self limiting belief. I like to look at myself and look at, high schoolers, people just graduated. They're like a little tree, right? Right now they're a little skinny twig. Once the wind blows, they go like they're skinny. They don't have many leaves. They don't have many twigs, right? And that's you right now, and that's normal. A tree has to be a scrawny little tree before it turns into a big tree. And right now in your life, you're growing into that big tree. So don't let what you don't have, what qualities you don't have, hold you back. Because that's the whole point of growing up is gaining more knowledge, gaining more skills, right? So in order to achieve what you want to achieve, you're going to have to build skills, build habits. We're about to go into that, the habits that you want to build. So understand that you're a little tree, right? So don't just understand it takes time to grow. You're not gonna have everything figured out. You're not gonna have all the skills you think you need to have to pursue that dream. So just go out there, put forth action, take the best step forward, and one day you'll get there. Trust me. It takes time. It's gonna take ups and downs. It's not this glory story where it's all up. Success is not linear. Progression is not linear. So yeah, look at yourself like a tree. You're a little tree. You don't have many twigs. You don't have many leaves. But eventually you'll grow up, and you'll have a big trunk, and a whole bunch of branches, whole bunch of leaves. Right. So let's get into good habits. So let's ask yourself, what do you have right now that older people don't have? That successful, even the millionaires, what they don't have. You have more time, and you have youth over them. That is your biggest thing. And also your physical capabilities. Those are really the only things that you have an upper hand on: time, your youth, and your physicality. So, your youth, right? You have new ideas. The world is constantly built off of new ideas. That's what keeps the human race progressing forward. So, understand you can bring something to the table. Your youthful thinking. You have a whole different way of thinking that can evolve people, that can evolve society, that can uplift people. You have more time. You simply do. Whether that's time that you have to live, ideally, hopefully you don't die, but ideally, and time that probably, let's say you're working with your parent or you're living with your parents, you're not working a 40-hour job. It might be part-time, it might be 25 hours. You might not have a job. So you have more time to build a new life. And also your physicality, you're just younger, you're faster, your body can endure more and it can do more. So I would recommend, working out, right? So anyways, I'm getting a little off topic. Let's get back. So no matter your career or the amount of money you have right now or your status, right? You can still build good habits that will always be prevalent no matter what. These are the habits that no matter how much money is in your bank account, no matter where you are in life, these habits are always going to stay with you because these habits are something that only you can decide for yourself. So some good habits: waking up early, hygiene, looking presentable, curating a routine, working out, what time you go to bed at, reading, meditating. So waking up early, I'll be honest, I did not wake up early. When I graduated, even after, I was waking up at like 10, 11. But when you wake up early, you just feel more productive. You have more time to do things, right? And especially it goes hand in hand with curating a routine. Once you curate a routine, once you kind of know maybe what you want to do in life or habits that you want to build, you make a routine throughout your day, and that keeps you on track. Building a routine will keep you on track. And no matter what confusion you're feeling, you can always lean back on these habits. So working out, like I said, reading, meditating, waking up early. And let's say you have an inconsistent job, right? Some days you work in the morning, some days you work at night. Don't fall into the trap of making the excuse that you can't build a routine. Make a routine based on what time you go into work. And waking up early really helps that. Wake up early, do what you gotta do before your shift, be productive before your shift, work, come back home, maybe relax for a bit, and keep pushing forward. Build this routine. Don't make excuses that your job is inconsistent so you can't have a consistent routine. That's what I did. That's why I'm saying it, because that's what I did. But now that I wake up early, I have more time to be productive in the morning, which allows more time after my shift to also be productive. Hygiene. Brush your teeth, bro. Wash your face, moisturize. I do the bare minimum, and my skin's decent. Drink your water. Try not to eat junk food. Work out, like I said. Get your body right, because when you're in shape, right, subconsciously you just get more respect from other people, because that shows signs of discipline, work ethic, being able to do things for a long time. You can't buy a good physique. These rich millionaires cannot buy a good physique, but you can build one which allows you to become more respectable, right? Reading. Reading is a life hack. Reading is like getting all these brilliant people from the world and kind of compressing all of their experiences into a 200-page book, and now you have the privilege to read that book and gain all of this knowledge. You're almost It's like books are almost kind of compressing time. And when you're young, reading is amazing. It puts you on the right track, you know? The first book that I read was Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Great book. I learned a lot. Read the Bible. Do what you got to do. Read some productive books that will help you in life. And also meditating. Meditating is kind of hard to be consistent. I get it, but like I said, it brings you a lot more clarity in life. It helps remove all those kind of junk thoughts that aren't productive to you. So meditate. So good habits. Let's go over them. Wake up early. Hygiene. Look presentable. Get a haircut. Do your eyebrows if you got to. Shave. Create a routine. Working out. Sleeping at a good time. Reading. Meditating. All of those are good habits that no matter where you are in life, you're gonna need those habits. You can't get away from your hygiene. You can't get away from waking up early or waking up late. You're gonna wake up every single day for as long as you live. You're gonna sleep for as long as you live. So might as well build those bulletproof habits that will carry you in life. You know? I know what you might be thinking, like, bro, waking up early is not gonna bring no money to my bank account. Meditating is not bringing no money. I get that. But that's just because you want some money, which is understandable. But like I'm saying, these build habits which make you into a better person. So now let's say when you have to be disciplined, right, and work on your business or study or do whatever, your brain is already used to being disciplined. Your brain is already used to doing things that are important, like waking up early, creating a routine, working out. So that's what I'm saying. These habits kind of bleed into all aspects of your life. And they can either help you or destroy you, you know? And also the biggest thing, you need to be accountable. You're young. The situation you're in, you probably didn't choose for yourself, your parents, your environment, right? It's easy to blame others, especially because you were just a kid like 6 years ago or whatever. But let me tell you, you have to be accountable for where you are in life. You have to be accountable of your work ethic, your habits that you yourself have chose for yourself, that you've done every day to build these habits. Whether they're good or bad, you have to be accountable. Because as you grow, you'll realize there is things you don't like about yourself, things that you want to improve. And the first step to that, obviously awareness, becoming aware of it, but then taking accountability and making the change. Because, bro, let me tell you, blaming others won't do you anything. I'll be honest. As a kid, it was valid. You're 10 and your parents suck, so that turns you into a bad little kid. Okay, that's valid. But, bro, as you get older, those excuses no one cares about. Now you're responsible for your life, which is either you could interpret that as being intimidating or something liberating, because now you realize that you control where you want to go in life. No one else does. And when you blame others, you subconsciously allow your environment to control you, which allows no room for growth. So be accountable. If you have no money in your pockets, that's on you. If you're out of shape, that's on you. So just be accountable, bro. Like, it's okay that you don't know, that you don't have any good skills right now. It's okay, but be accountable and then improve. So because blaming others, like I said, won't do anything. And last thing before I end this video, this is intimidating, right? I know you're probably already intimidated of the future, and what I'm gonna say is intimidating, but I don't know how else to say this. And this is something that I wish someone just told me straight forward. The time you waste now, you will pay it back to somebody else in the future. The days you wait, this is intimidating, I know, but the days you waste The time you waste doom scrolling, the time you waste on pointless, I'm not gonna say pointless relationships because we can always learn, but just on pointless things, wasting your money on dumb things, maybe spending your whole day on video games. The time you waste in that moment, you will pay it back to somebody else. Because that time you're wasting, if we're keeping it real, you're wasting that time. And in the moment, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to get punished for it. You're not going to lose money for it. Nothing's bad's going to happen to you in that moment. But later on in the future, all that time you've wasted will catch up to you. And then you'll find yourself in a situation you don't like, in a 9 to 5 you don't like, in a job you don't like, working for somebody else, spending your time on things that will not help you grow, putting your time into somebody else's business, into somebody else's dream, because you were too focused on the instant gratification, the video games, the doom scrolling, binging of the TV show. So that time you wasted will be paid back to somebody else. I made a video on that. Go back and watch it. I kind of explain it more in depth. But just know the time you're wasting right now, it does no harm, but in the future, your future self will pay for that. You know? So, but if you put forth action and kind of listen to what I said, eliminate the distractions, build habits, work out, read, meditate, that is not wasted time. Although you're not getting money from it, just know that you got to do the boring things, is what I'm trying to say. You got to do the boring things because eventually they will pay off. The boring things, I guarantee you, will pay off. Find out what you want to do in life by eliminating distractions, maybe a business. Maybe you do want to pursue a career. Maybe you do want to get a job, which is okay if you want to do that. Me personally, I cannot work a 9 to 5. So I'm just telling you guys my perspective. You know, everything that I told you guys right now is stuff that I wish somebody told me. You know, so I hope this helped you. This video is kind of, I'm trying to hold that candle in, you know, like I said, in this uncertainty that you guys are going through. But everyone's going through uncertainty, so you're not alone. But if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that. Thank you.